The police here are telling us that the tornado damaged or destroyed 1/4 of the homes in Moore, Oklahoma. Stan Bush of our CBS Denver station, KCNC, met a woman here who was home when the storm hit.
The glass started breaking. I curled up in a little ball, and I could still see the debris flying in the air. It was getting thicker and thicker.
Amy Barthels says she was able to grab a couple of blankets and jumped into her bathtub when she heard the tornado coming.
I felt the house buckling on me, and this morning I remembered the wind just picking me up and moving me. And the next thing I knew, I was looking up into the sky and just moving the boards off of me.
Barthels suffered multiple lacerations and bruises across her body.
It was very frightening. I thought I was going to die. I'm very lucky. I'm still here. Save that for insurance purposes.
Barthels says she's having a hard time processing what she's seeing.
The reality hasn't totally set in yet. I still feel like I'm going to come home, but there is no home.
Scott Amy Barthels did get a little satisfaction today. While digging through the debris of her home, she found a few old family photos. She says she'll use those to redecorate once she rebuilds.
Reporter Stan Bush of KCNC.
And Karen, they've been anxious all day just waiting for those evacuation orders to come. As you saw from that recent press conference and from the maps that they had behind them, no neighborhood nearby this fire is safe right now. For much of the day, residents of the Flying Horses area watched the fire burn across the highway. But the erratic winds shifted again. Anxious police saw the fire redirect and ordered new evacuations.
We're all packed up and ready to go.
Going door to door with the warning and marking homes that had been cleared.
It's on that last ridge. It's coming down that hill, and the wind you can see is blowing this direction. So it's coming.
Teresa Feller ran for home and loaded cars as quickly as she could.
It's okay. It's okay. They're very nervous.
The entire neighborhood frantically left. Feller and her family don't know where they'll stay tonight. She says if the fire does cross Highway 83 and take her neighborhood, she and her family won't come back. Have you been waiting for this moment?
Yeah. I think I was very optimistic, just trying to be strong for my son Cal, that it wasn't going to come. That's why I didn't panic and pack yesterday, and then we panicked in a rush when it seemed so close and the wind was coming so strong.
Aerial crews that fight these fires say you always have to watch out for them because they create their own weather. But for the people on the ground, you can feel it too. We approached the fire today by driving south on Highway 83, and we came through a neighborhood that had already been evacuated. By the time we got there, Karen, it was raining, but it was only raining ash. Back to you.
Tonight, a one-of-a-kind study you will see only on CBS 4. Colorado researchers venture into bear dens to understand why bears and people are crossing paths so much more often. We asked to see that research up close, and our Stan Bush shows us why the animals' hunt for food is becoming increasingly risky.
In the mountains outside Durango,
you could get it all the way under, huh?
Heather Johnson and her team go to extreme lengths to find bears.
So we're going to a den that's just over in the draw.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife is tracking 40 bears right into bear dens.
Should we prep it hard or not?
They fill syringes and dart guns with tranquilizers.
And we'll get her jabbed and put to sleep as quick as I can.
They whisper to keep the bears from waking up too quickly.
There's anticipation for sure.
To get there, Johnson has to squeeze into a cave opening not much wider than a basketball.
104 for heart rate.
Inside, she performs what amounts to a routine physical.
The neck is 59.
Checking the bear's temperature, weight, and more.
We get a hair sample, both because we get really good follicles, so we can get DNA that way. We can also use the hair to look at generally what they've been eating.
Researchers are doing this because bear confrontations are becoming a national problem. Colorado Parks and Wildlife says of the 41 states that have black bears, 30 report a rise in bear-human conflicts.
What we don't know is whether those conflicts are increasing because bears are changing their behavior, or whether the bear population is increasing.
This is the fattest bear we felt all winter.
They're finding just how fragile the bear population is, affected by everyday changes in the environment. Last year's drought conditions and low food left researchers finding some of the thinnest bears they have ever seen. And now they wonder if those conditions have led to fewer cubs being born this year.
And last year, looking at bears that we expected to have cubs, about 70% of them did. So far, this year we're looking more like 15 to 20%. We would have thought that this bear, if any of them would have cubs given her size.
Researchers don't know if the lower number of cubs found is directly tied to the drought.
This is an older bear.
They also wonder what effect human food is playing on the bear population.
131 for Chesker.
32 of their 40 bears spent most of last summer getting fat eating in town.
Next we're gonna weigh her.
233.
233. Wow. She put on over 100 extra pounds.
Johnson hopes these close encounters lead to concrete answers. The 5-year study should show how bears survive in the worst conditions, and this summer could be the driest in over a decade. In Durango, Stan Bush, CBS 4 News.
Our Stan Bush is there right now. Stan, we know businesses outside, around Union Station, are also hoping to cash in.
That's right, Jim, and it was expensive for some of these new businesses to get down here, but they may see a return on their investment really quickly. This area, especially this block, used to be a black hole for retail. Now it's in the middle of the spotlight. Tornado was basically centered here and then sucked the door right off. It spun in this area a little while. This is a truck full of insulation. The insulation and debris has now been spread all around the area. And if you take a look back here, this is the garage. On the other side, this is the size of that door that was taken down. And inside, the damage was pretty significant as well, knocking these light fixtures off of the ceiling. We understood that this tornado actually started on the other side. Take a look at this video. This was taken from some of the witnesses that were here. They saw this tornado starting to turn overhead and said they had almost no warning.
Our Stan Bush out looking for snow live just over the border in Wyoming. And Stan, looks like you found some.
That's right, Karen. We've been driving around northern Colorado through most of the day thinking that this storm was going to bring in some snow. And just a couple miles south of the Wyoming border, we finally found it. And boy, did we. The temperatures dropped dramatically, and the snow is basically going sideways along the road. It's amazing how quickly the conditions changed, too, because down in Fort Collins, it was considerably warmer. We saw people walking around in shorts. On I-25, the roads are pretty wet. You get a short spot of rain, and then all of a sudden the snow starts coming. So it is moving south, and the temperatures, they are very cold. But as you can see, the snow, it's around us. We'll have more later. For now, live in Wyoming, Stan Bush, CBS 4 News.
Thank you, Stan.